Hey, it's Dr. Troy here, the Vancouver chiropractor. Today I want to talk about inner ear infections. You know, a lot of people don't realize that chiropractic may be able to help children that have ear infections. The sad thing is, you know, a lot of parents will go down the medical route with the antibiotics, which in some studies show they're not effective, and the kids will get reoccurring ear infections, and then eventually they get tubes put in their ear. And you know, I have 3 small children. They've never had an ear infection. My oldest is 8, my youngest is 3. So none of them have had ear infections. They've been getting adjusted since birth. There's also a huge nutritional component here too. So with kids who get a lot of ear infections, they tend to be prone to eating a lot of dairy, a lot of sugar. And so these things are going to naturally weaken the immune system. So they're going to be more susceptible. Dr. Scott Mendelson, who wrote a book about ear infections, he says that somebody should have their head examined if they don't go to a chiropractor first. That's basically what he said. He said chiropractic should be the first place you take a child for an ear infection. And you go, well, why is that? Isn't that a medical thing? Well, if you understand the mechanics behind it, you'll understand why chiropractic might be the answer. So if we look at the central nerve system, especially we look at the upper neck, we look at the skull, we look at the first bone, there's a lot of neurology there. So let's go to the chart here and I'll show you. There's the first bone in the neck, primero huesos, as we say in Spanish, which means the first bone. And so that bone, if that bone gets out of alignment, it can irritate the fibers that go into the inner ear. And the fibers that come off here also innervate the eustachian tube. The eustachian tube is a tube that drains the inner ear, the middle of the ear, to the back of the throat. And if that gets congested or plugged, the fluid that's in the ear is not going to drain, so it's going to swell in the ear and it's going to get infected. So I remember the first time I adjusted a baby, had green oozy pus coming out his ear. I adjusted the baby and I called the mom the next day and I said, how was the baby? She said, the baby slept through the night, no more screaming, and the pus is gone. It was a miracle. I was just like, wow. And so I knew chiropractic was on to something. So that's why we talk about this on videos, is because a lot of people don't know. And that's why we say, come get a consultation so we can check and see, is there a disturbance in the functioning of the joints, which is interfering the nerves, controlling the inner ear mechanics. And if it is, and we start adjusting that, the kids tend to respond really quickly. Within a few days or a few weeks, we tend to see this clear up quickly. I always recommend when parents have kids that have ear infections, I say no sugar, no dairy. No sugar, no dairy, even grains. Get them off the grains till we can get this thing cleared up. No juices, no milk, no cheese. We clear that up. So if you know someone with ear infections, you have one, please call the office. Any of the doctors at Zenaptic would be happy to take care of you. 360-260-6903 is the number.